Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we don't have your average mp5. Does look like one though. If you guys don't know what it is, gun nerds, you might have a clue if I put the mag in. The people who still don't have a clue, it's the mp510. What is the mp510? It's an mp5 in 10mm. It was made, I believe, for SWAT. Was it SWAT or FBI? It was a SWAT or FBI firearm, and they used it before they transferred over to 5.56 or 223, and they used 10mm, and even in their pistols too. They loved using 10mm in their pistols and anything in the 80s. I don't know why. They were pretty much obsessed with it. But here it is, my recreation of the mp510. This is my first time making an mp5. First one I made was in 2018, and 2021, 2022, and then now we have 3 years later with probably one of my best recreations of an mp5. I will be making another one when I actually bought an mp5A2. When that comes in, then I will be recreating the mp5A2 or A3. But here it is, mp510. Of course, the detail with the side controller. Usually when you're under here, you turn it on and off. One thing that Heckler & Koch did not like that they had to add to this is a bolt release. This is the only, I believe, the only Heckler & Koch mp5 that had a bolt release, if I'm correct. And Heckler & Koch, they felt they hated doing it, but they did it because, well, they wanted it to be used by militant units. So yeah. So this one has a tack rail on top. They don't. Back then they didn't have anything on it. Usually it'd have this kind of barrel, or it would have a full stock instead of a folding one like this one here. But usually, one thing is that when I gotta make an mp5 and 9mm, but the one key difference between the mp510 and 9 was a bolt release. So then if you had an empty, like if you put an empty mag in there and you slap, like give it a good old HK slap, instead of it going forward, it would actually lock. And then to actually make it go forward, you have to disengage the bolt lock. Pretty much simple as that. This one has, instead of the usual circular cut iron sights in the back, this one has a notch, because I personally prefer the notch over the circle cut ones. That's just personal preference, and when I did order an mp5, I will actually be cutting the sights down, just because, well, I like the V-notch. It's just beautiful. Yeah, I did add a tack rail, but why did I add a tack rail? So I can put optics. Of course, you got optics, the reticles, because, well, why wouldn't I put reticles on my optics? So you have, like, you know, blue dot, hollow sight, blue dot with V aperture, and 3 zoom. Oh, fuck. This one's always the stuff I want to put in like all my guns that are fitted for optics. I fit all my paper guns for optics. Yeah, but I hate putting this one on because it always wants to do like annoying shit, like jam at random. So it like really sucks. This one's like the most finicky optic I have. Luckily, you don't really need that on an mp5, so yeah. But I did make it where you could put muzzle attachments. Of course, you got a compensator. Give me a second. Ooh, these things are a little bit harder to put on than I thought. Give me a second. Compensator to put on is a little bit advanced. Not advanced, but they're just a little bit difficult. Yeah, you got, you know, compensator. And usually what a commonly didn't use was a suppressor, which I made it where you can put on a suppressor. yeah, usually they never use the suppressor on the MP510. Usually they'd actually just use nothing. And usually they would rarely run an optic. It would just be, you'd run it like this with a folding stock like this, or telescopic, whatever it's called, folding telescopic stock, or full stock, which is usually polymer. One thing about the MP510, it is a little bit of a beefier, lower receiver than the actual MP5. MP5 usually has two forms of mag release, which would be usually the button here, ambidextrous button here, which this one does not have. This one only has the paddle mag release due to the mag, like usually the mag goes a lot more forward and you can't just hit it. So usually you just be barely short and you'd have to finagle your hand a little bit because they have to make a beefier receiver for 10 mil. But honestly, there's much to say. I did make it where I didn't make any barrels for it, but you can actually take out the barrel. You just have to remove 2 pieces of tape up here and it come right off. One thing I did try to do is like make decently accurate pins and stuff. The top was very detailed until I put the rail on it, and all that detail that I really spent time on is like gone. So sad, boohoo for me. But also have rear sling where you'd mount it, and where you'd usually mount the front sling, usually by the barrel. But now it's usually you mount it right here. Stereotypically, especially on like I see in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I see that a lot. Why do I not play any new Call of Duties? Because they suck. I've had every Call of Duty for like the past 6 years. New ones suck. But yeah. P510 was actually, I believe, in Call of Duty history, it was only represented in Modern Warfare 2019, I believe. That was the only game that had the MP510. And it wasn't a perfectly accurate model of the MP510. It was just a conversion of the MP5 9mm to an MP510. This one is the actual MP510. You can see you got the tri-log mount for muzzle attachments, but usually they wouldn't use the tri-log and just use a threaded barrel, which this one in real life I believe has a 14mm threaded barrel, I think, or it's either 14 or 24mm threaded barrel. I did try to put some detail into the iron sights, like if there was a screw there, right there. But yeah, usually now this is probably one of my favorite creations, the MP5 and 10mm, or MP510. It's my favorite creation and my first ever MP5 with this barrel style, which is in the game I play, it's called a SWAT barrel. I just call it an underbarrel flashlight, but whatever they call it now. But yeah, this is my favorite MP5, and also not your average MP5. But yeah, I did make it where I did make 2 mags. Of course, a lot of my first my old MP510 that I made actually had the magazine was completely hollow, like unlike this one, which actually completely reinforced to the brim. Yeah, this one's reinforced to the brim. But yeah, this is my MP510. Thank you for watching this short video. I really enjoyed making this MP510. It took me let me try a guess here. It took me 10 hours to make. Yeah, but yeah, this MP510 took me 10 hours to make. That's funny because MP510, 10 hours to make it. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you in another video. Hopefully, maybe an unboxing of my MP5 that I ordered, or actually a paper MP5 in 9mm. Have a nice day, night, or afternoon, and I'll see you in another video.